Did Hot Wheels Unleashed just become the new king of arcade racers? Welcome to the Militia Gaming community. I'm Trigger, and let's dig into it. Let's go! Hot Wheels Unleashed offers a lot of things that other arcade racers don't, but also doesn't have a lot of the things that those games have as well, so answering this question is going to be a bit tricky, but in this full review I hope to provide you with enough evidence for you to make that decision by the end of the video, and of course I will give you my opinion as well. First, let's take a look at the single-player campaign called Hot Wheels City Rumble. This is where most people will spend time becoming familiar with the game and its race mechanics. It features semi-linear progression in that it allows the player to choose from a couple of different options to progress. Once you complete a race, it unlocks the nodes that are connected to it. Pretty simple and understandable. There are 3 different types of races in this mode: quick races, time attacks, and bosses. The quick race is just that. A time attack takes place on a quick race track and requires the player to complete a lap in under a specified amount of time, and boss fights are longer and more challenging quick races. There are also secret races that the player must solve a riddle and complete a specific task to unlock. These secret races will generally reward better than standard races, but the most rewarding races are definitely the boss fights. The boss fights are extended races that have their own unique mechanic depending on the boss you're facing. Those tracks are longer and there are more obstacles, traps, and pitfalls to slow you down. I found the boss fights to be slightly more enjoyable than everything else in the game because it provided a little bit of a challenge. However, because they're longer, I also found them to be more frustrating if not completed. If you make a mistake that costs you the race on the last lap, you will have spent 6 to 9 minutes on one race that you now have to start over. It will take the average player somewhere around 10 to 15 hours to complete this entire single player experience, which is pretty common for modern race games. The truly special part of this game is the gameplay. Racing is extremely enjoyable. It sort of reminds me of all the fun times I've had playing Mario Kart in a way that the cars slide around the track. But it is way faster and it takes a bit more skill to master. There's plenty of variation in the track design to keep you guessing and wanting more. I played 7 hours in my first sitting and had an absolute blast. I kept saying to myself, I'm having so much fun with this, I do not want to stop playing. It is very addicting, and I don't think I've been able to say that about a single player campaign in racing games before. The multiplayer, on the other hand, has some issues, all of which are not game breaking because they can definitely fix it with updates, but the main problem I see is that there are no official leaderboards. Beating a friend or a random player's time on a given track is a huge motivator for players to continue playing the game long after they've completed the single player experience, and it's missing from this multiplayer. Part of the reason why it's missing is because the game doesn't seem to track your overall time in a race. Instead, it tracks each of your individual lap times and provides you with the best lap only. It also doesn't show everyone's best lap, only yours, so at the end of a multiplayer race, you don't really know how you compared with the rest of the field, aside from your finishing position. It's also more difficult than necessary to enter a public lobby with a friend. There is no party system, so to get into a public lobby with a friend, you must enter a quick match and then invite your friend once you get into the lobby. I would prefer to party up with friends first and then all matchmake together into the same lobby at the same time. This is a pretty basic multiplayer feature that is missing. Aside from that though, I'd love to see visual representation of each player's experience in the game. And what I mean by that is some sort of multiplayer leveling system. It would be cool to see a system like that shows other players how experienced you are in multiplayer. On the bright side though, these issues do not take away from the core experience of multiplayer racing. The racing is competitive and extremely fun. I feel like I've said this way too many times already, but the gameplay is so fun that you forget about what's missing when you're racing. It's completely addicting. You just want to keep racing and trying different cars. I really can't say enough about the core experience of the game. It's truly something special. Let's switch gears for a second and talk about a couple of features that I didn't expect to see in this game. Livery customization and basement customization. You can actually customize your own liveries for the cars. This is such a cool feature because now you have the ability to make Hot Wheels cars look exactly how you want. You can change the material and the color of everything on the car, from the chassis to the interior to the decals and even the glass. The level of detail and customization is actually mind-blowing. This is a feature that I didn't expect to be so detailed and so deep. Your basement is really a feature I didn't expect also, and it's a place to showcase your game achievements. You earn basement items while working through the campaign, and you can customize the entire room, which is pretty cool, but it feels a little bit unnecessary. It's also a pretty busy scene in there, so I presume most basements will look pretty similar, especially when players haven't completed the solo player experience yet. I have a feeling this feature may be more prominent later in the game's life cycle when there are bigger and better things to achieve, but for now it just seems a little bit pointless. That being said, it is a feature I didn't expect, and it doesn't hurt to have it around, and it's a space that you can use to build your own tracks in. So overall it's a positive, but it definitely feels like maybe this was thrown in last minute. And speaking of building your own tracks, let's dive into the track builder. The track builder allows you to play with your own creativity in each of the 5 locations in the game, or in a room called the track room, which is just an empty room with endless possibilities. The coolest thing about this is that when you're done creating your masterpiece, you can share it with the greater Hot Wheels community, and it may come up as an option to vote for in a multiplayer lobby. Each multiplayer lobby votes on which track they would like to race on from 5 different tracks. 2 of those 5 are player created, and once you validate and share your track, it has a chance to pop up as an option. I can definitely tell I will be spending a significant amount of time making tracks to play on stream and with friends. This feature alone sets Hot Wheels apart from every other racing game. If you buy this game, I highly recommend experimenting with this track builder. You can create some truly wacky and crazy and amazing tracks using this builder. Lastly, let's talk about the cars. At launch, there are 68 cars in the base game, all of which can be found in the blind boxes, and some of which are earned through playing Hot Wheels City Rumble, the single player experience. Collecting is such a huge incentive in real life that it's only fitting that it's a huge part of the game as well. The cars are unique and awesome looking, so awesome that I even want to collect the cars that are slow and big and really can't be used for racing. Collecting and upgrading cars definitely provides some motivation to keep racing, but after the campaign, it is a grind to earn enough coins to buy cars outright from the shop's limited offers, or to buy blind boxes and hope for the best. To give you an idea, from a single player race you will earn about 50 coins, and a blind box costs 500 coins. That's 10 races to earn one random car that actually could be a duplicate. If it is a duplicate, you can sell the car for either coins, or you can dismantle the car for upgrade parts. Races are on average about 4 minutes long, some of them are more and some of them are less, but if you're really efficient and you just do all of the short races, you can earn a random car every half an hour or so, maybe a little bit faster than that, but by playing multiplayer and winning, you can earn yourself up to 70 coins depending on how good you performed. But keep in mind, you are competing with up to 11 other players. So the safest way to earn coins is to race in a private lobby with a friend. It classifies that race as a multiplayer race, so the winner gets 70 and the second place person gets 65. Overall, it feels a bit grindy, but earning cars is really your main goal after you complete the campaign. And since the racing is so fun, as I mentioned earlier, I really don't mind it as much as some might. I do find myself getting very impatient and wanting to earn more coins so that I can buy more cars, but I think the game has an okay balance. For people who have a lot of time on their hands and can grind the game, this really won't be an issue. For people who don't have a lot of time on their hands, they might find that this is just a little bit too grindy for their taste. Alright, so let's discuss the question I asked in the beginning of the video. Can we crown Hot Wheels Unleashed the new king of arcade racers? My answer is no, but it's not a firm no. It's more like a soft, let's see what the future brings us no. I can't crown it just yet, specifically because of the before mentioned issues with the multiplayer, and because although the developers have said they're not going to have any microtransactions or loot boxes in the game was launched with a paid DLC, which feels like they're intentionally holding things out of the game and asking players to pay more for it. That being said, overall it is a ridiculously enjoyable experience, but it obviously doesn't scratch the real life car itch that something like a Forza Horizon or a Need for Speed Heat does. It's a very, very fun game, which I was quite surprised by. I had built this idea of what it was going to be in my head because it's so nostalgic for me. I played a ton of Hot Wheels games back in the day, and that had me thinking there's no way this game lives up to my own expectations. But I was wrong. It has far surpassed my expectations. It is extremely fun. I'm so excited to see where it goes from here. Hopefully this video has helped you make a decision about buying the game, and if you already own it, what do you think? Can we crown it the best arcade racer out right now? Let me know in the comments down below, and as always, I'm more than happy to answer questions about the game, so send me a DM on Instagram, Twitter, or Discord. Shout out to all the Militia subs. I will catch you on the next one. Trigger out.